Wild times.
Guys, I thought for tonight's bonus ep, we'd do something a little bit different. You want to hear my idea?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. You guys remember in high school when you wiggle the pen and it looks like... No, I'm just kidding. I thought... So, you guys get a lot of DMs from Brostners, yeah?
Sorry.
Loads.
Sorry.
Thanks for telling.
And I will do better at responding to them in the future.
Yeah.
I get them too. I'm the same. I should respond more. I do try and read them, especially now. Not kidding. If you're on this Patreon, I'm like trying to follow back, trying to figure out who's there, be involved in this, because this is like bigger than the random floozies that send me things on Instagram all the time. I get so much crunchy granola thrown my way. It's crazy on Instagram.
Just look at one of Forrest's posts and look how many likes are on it. It's like 10,000.
Yeah,
Makes me
it's hard to
feel
keep
meager.
up. Anyway, regardless, I get a lot of them too. And I thought for tonight's episode, what we do is just go through some of them. Go through some of our favorite ones. I got a whole bunch. They're all lined up.
Yeah.
I could dig in first.
Yeah, I started keeping track here. I will pull mine up as well. Just going through like just questions from Brostners, yeah?
Yeah, that's it. Just
All right.
first your questions. You got it.
Okay.
Sounds
Let's,
fantastic.
All right,
let's
I'll
do.
start. I lined up the game. I had one, I kind of made the whole game based around this question because it made me happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Patrick, for a short guy, why are you not more angry? That's the first
Wow.
question I got.
Okay. 5'10" is not technically short.
Not short, but it's a hilarious question.
I might
10.
I might be the shortest of the three of us. Why am I not more angry? I
That's the
think if
question.
anything, I'm very angry. No, I will say this. I used to be a lot angrier when I was in my 20s, no doubt about it. I had a big chip on my shoulder as a teenager and in my early 20s, moving to LA, and you're around a bunch of douchebags, and I always had a fucking big problem with rich kids, man, because I grew up in Oswego, New York, single mom, went to Cornell, and everyone there was driving a Range Rover that they got for high school graduation. I mean, like a $60,000, $70,000 car.
That's ridiculous.
So I always had this fucking chip on my shoulder. I wanted to fight everybody. And then just as I got a little older, and probably around the time I became an EP on Whale Wars, where I actually got out of debt and started to like have some money and feel more confident with who I was, I just got a lot less angry. And just every year you get older, in my experience, you just get less angry. You don't feed off the need to prove people wrong as much. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think you're that angry, but I think this was just a jab, and I thought it was funny, so I wanted to read it out loud.
he's been increasingly angry because of the tech difficulties.
True, which
in
has
the
been
last
very
couple
funny.
of episodes.
True.
But now it seems to be okay. So
You guys got any? I got a few
I
more.
do.
I could roll right into them.
Go ahead.
Another one? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure,
This
yeah.
one came at me, and it said, "Yo, Forrest, you're my hero. How did Retep end up hanging out with you and Patrick when you guys have such cool jobs and he does question mark?" That's
Yeah, a lot
the
of-
question.
a lot of Brostners have asked me that question too. I'm a man of mystery, but I'll divulge here because
Please.
this is a bonus ep. I mean, so I've known Pat for a fucking decade, basically. We started off back in the
2007 or 8, son.
Yeah, and we did a couple of podcasts, and as you know, Pat's an idea man, so podcasts are fucking fantastic. He thought it'd be a good idea to get Forrest and me, who has the know-how to fucking put together the tech side of the podcast, and I'm also fucking hilarious, obviously.
Obviously.
to do a show. So I mean, that's the gist of it. I mean, we're friends and we fucking drink and we shoot the shit.
Well, Forrest, you and I we wouldn't have a podcast unless we had someone who knew how to set it up, right?
100%.
We just wouldn't have done it.
No
and
way.
we're both
Absolutely not.
We're both busy. We're always traveling. We've got a million ideas. I mean, Forrest and I have probably 40 development projects that are just ideas right now because we don't have the
any
time to
given
pull
time.
them off.
Yep.
So we just weren't going to do it. I had done, the 2 previous podcasts with Retep, which were just general bullshit for fun. And I was like, what if we actually did a podcast where people had some takeaway?
Yeah.
Right.
Forrest is a bro. I figured all 3 of us would get along. So just made a quick phone call to each. There we go.
No,
And then-
it was a great call. It's been a blast ever since.
Well, and then to answer the question, the question mark portion of it, I have a couple of e-commerce brands where I sell fucking
Dick pills.
fancy boots and other
pills.
bullshit to people. And then
He sells dick pills. Don't let him
I'm a
fool you,
co-owner.
Brostners.
Yeah.
He just sells dick pills. Nothing else. They're actually sugar capsules. He prints the labels himself, slaps them onto a prescription bottle. That's it. You're buying Tic Tacs.
By the way, if I did that, I would be fucking. I would not be doing this podcast. I'd be a billionaire. Oh, you got one? All right.
Yeah. Okay. I got a good one here. Hang on. I would like to hear.
Do you have it there?
I have it right here. I had to find it. I would like to hear what each of your, I'm assuming means the three of us, each of your most embarrassing moment from high school was.
Oh, that's
Okay.
fun.
Let me go
That's a
first.
hell of a question.
Yeah.
I'll go first. God, I cringe to this day. We talked about this on the podcast. You have those moments where you think about it while you're laying in bed. It just pops into your head, and you're like, "Oh God, I hate that." So I was hanging out with this chick, and we were like kind of like cuddling and just like kind of fucking doing high school bullshit for one night that we were hanging out, and then that was that. I think we might have kissed a little. The next night, we're hanging out, and we're like in a room. We're on the couch. And there's a bunch of people smoking weed, drinking, fucking doing whatever. And I like try getting close to her, and like going in for a kiss. And she literally just pushes my forehead away in front of everybody, and is like, "Ew!" And I was
embarrassing.
like, I was just like, whoop, just fucking scooched over and got shit faced, drunk, never
I'd like
talked to her
to.
again.
I'd like to get to know her. She sounds great.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. I
I'm
agree with
sure.
her sentiment.
I'm
Oh
sure.
man,
Yeah,
Patrick,
well,
why don't you go? I'm still trying to rack my brain for my most embarrassing moment.
It's hard to really think through the worst of the worst, because high school is ripe with horrible
sure is.
embarrassments. I
Sure
mean,
is.
that's the one thing we all have in common in the world is that
like
we.
four that I'm juggling in my brain right now.
Yeah. I mean, there's one that makes me cringe more, but it's not as good of a story. But so I was pretty cool in high school, but I wasn't the ladies' man. Like, I was definitely like, I had other friends who were like having sex with their girlfriends and stuff like that, and I was not in that group. And senior year, so like junior year, I played in a rock band, and like senior year, for whatever reason, like started to become more popular, and it came out that one of these girls who was considered to be one of the cutest girls in the school was interested in me. And I knew a guy that had already hooked up with her. And so I was like, hey, like, what happened when you, I heard you, like, blah, 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 with what's her name? And he goes, yeah. He's like, we were over at Ryan's house, and I just looked at her and said, let's lose some layers. And it worked. And I was like, cool. So then, like, we didn't go on a date. She, like, came over to my house when my mom was out of town. We were hanging out, like, drinking a beer. And I literally just looked at her and I go, so what do you think? Should we lose some layers? And she literally looked like she had seen a ghost. Like, she looked like her posture changed. She tensed up. She was like, what did you just say? And I was like, no, nothing. She's like, no, what did you say? And I was like, I said, should we lose some layers? And she was just like, what the fuck? It didn't work out that night, but I did end up dating her for 3 years, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Happy ending.
But that moment,
You're still embarrassed?
I wanted a sinkhole to open in my living room and me to fall in it to the depths of hell in that
That's
second. Yeah.
Yep.
What do you got, Forrest?
I think mine. So there was this kid named Just. That was his name, Just. He was like
Dope.
6'4", redhead. He had dreadlocks. He was on the so I was on the football team. He was on the football team. He was a lineman. He was much bigger than me, but he was kind of a softie. You know the kid, the big kid in high school that's a soft lineman that you're like everybody thinks he's intimidating, but I knew he was soft, right? Like I knew he was soft. Yep. Everybody's got one. You're like that guy shouldn't really be on the team, but he's built for it. Anyway, I knew he was soft, and Just was chasing around this girl named Marin that I liked, right? And I forget, he said something like under his breath to me, and to this day I can't remember what it was. And I was just like, fuck you, Just, like, let's go, like, fuck you, outside right now. Like, you guys know what I'm like. And I was much worse in high school. And I'm like, parking lot, bitch, at lunch. And he's like, all right, man. And so it's like, everybody knows this is coming. There's like 30, 40 people waiting in the parking lot, and I'm like, well, fuck you, Just. This is going down, bitch. And like walk out in the high school parking lot, and he's standing there. He's like completely relaxed. He's like sitting against the side of my truck waiting for me. Marin, the girl that I have this huge crush on, is there. I'm like, let's fucking go, bitch. Like, you know, like getting all worked up. And just like sits there. He's completely relaxed. Like just couldn't have cared any less. Like just like big mopey-eyed Just. And I like start, you know, like high school fighting where you like jump around, like start like getting in their face. And he goes from doing literally nothing to clocking me square in the forehead with one punch. And I'm laying on the ground, like wreathing around in pain, like basically crying. The whole school's watching. And he just goes back to leaning against the truck without even like, without any motion, like never change of expression, nothing.
Wild times.
So if you want more behind the scenes stuff that we cannot show on YouTube, Darwin Awards, video breakdowns and reviews, check out the Patreon. It's full of hours and hours of incredible exclusive content, stuff that you guys are gonna love. Swipe up, click the link, do the thing, come and hang out on Patreon. See you guys there.